All right. Hey, Kyle. Good morning. I hope that this video helps. We'll see what we can do here. So I wanted to pull up some just difference quotient examples and kind of show you what those are all about. So hold on here. It's been a while since I've done Zoom. All right, there we go. So the difference quotient is actually something that we use in calculus. And I know you're in pre-calculus right now. I'm so proud of you. You've done so well in algebra, and the fact that you're taking pre-calculus, I'm so excited for you, Kyle. That's fantastic. So your difference quotient looks like this. Oops. Like I said, I'm a little Zoom rusty. So F, I guess I can't write up there. I'll come down here. F of x plus h minus f of x all over h. So that difference, that word difference means subtract. So you're subtracting two things, and that's your minus up here. So the hard part and the weird part is, how do you substitute that into that function? So I'm going to give you a couple examples here. So for the first one, my example is, we'll go with x squared. So f of x is equal to x squared. So then your job is to use this difference quotient and put everything in the right spot. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to have, and this is the part that's confusing. So I tell my students, start on the bottom, that's the easy part, you know that's the h. Over here, this is f of x, so that's exactly the same, it's just your function. So I'm going to say minus x squared. And then here's the tricky part, this f of x plus h. Students have a really tough time substituting that in, at least what I found. So here's sometimes what I do. If I know that f of x is equal to x squared, and I said, what's f of 7? You would say, okay, that's 7 squared. If I said, what's f of 5 plus 2, because 5 plus 2 is also 7, that would be 5 plus 2 squared. All right, cool. What if I said it's 5 plus h? Well, by using the pattern above, it would be 5 plus h squared. So that 5 and the h are stuck together. In our case, it's going to be an x plus h. So f of x plus h is really x plus h squared. That's what it looks like. But here's what everybody wants to do. Everybody wants to tell me that it's x squared plus h. Everybody. But it's not. The x plus h are stuck together. So this one's a no. Don't do this. So if I come back up here to my problem, I take the x plus h that's in the front, this piece, and I replace this x with it. So this becomes x, oops, wrong pencil, x plus h quantity squared. Well, now what you have to do is go through and simplify this. So that first piece, the x plus h, is really x plus h minus x squared over h. So I'm going to FOIL. So x squared plus 2xh plus h squared minus x squared all over h. And then you have to keep doing algebra. So what happens with those x squareds? Those cancel out. I've got 2xh plus h squared over h. I'm going to factor out an h. So I've got 2x plus h over h. And then what happens next? Those h's cancel out. So you have a 2x plus h. And that, sir, is your answer. So I know there's a lot of substituting, there's a lot of algebra in just this one problem. Now, I don't know what your quiz looks like, I don't know how you have to set it up, but that's how you would go through and solve a difference quotient, or how you'd set it up and solve it. Oops, I'm losing stuff here. So let me show you another one. That's a polynomial. That one's not too bad. What if I did, hold on, I'm gonna pause this. All right, I figured out how to scroll my screen. So I rewrote my difference quotient, f of x plus h minus f of x all over h. So my next one that I'm going to share with you is f of x equals 1 over x. And I'm about to give a problem like this to my calculus students today. They're not going to be happy with it. So when we go to substitute this in, the bottom's the easiest, so there's my h, minus my f of x is 1 over x. And then in the beginning, remember that x plus h is stuck together. So this is 1 over x plus h. Now, you have a big mess. What's going on here? So the next thing I want you to do is simplify the numerator. So you're going to multiply everything by a common denominator. Your common denominator is x plus h times x. And the bottom is x plus h times x. And the reason why I'm allowed to do that is everything that's in red is really a 1 because it's the same on the top and the bottom. Now, when I go to distribute across the top, the x plus h's would cancel out, so I'm left with an x. Here is, whoops. Here's that minus sign that's originally in the problem, that's this one. And then when I distribute to the second piece, the x's cancel out, so I bring down an x plus h. All over h times, now don't FOIL the ones on the bottom, don't distribute those, and you'll see why in a second. So on the top, that blue minus sign, I do want to distribute. I guess I should make everything blue again. So this would be x minus h over h times x plus h times x. So what happens with those x's? Those cancel out, they're gone. So I have a negative h, whoops. Can you tell I'm not used to this one? I have a negative h over h times x plus h times x. So those h's cancel out. And now I have a negative 1 over x plus h times x. Now, you might need to distribute that back through. I'm not exactly sure on the bottom. So I think, I can scroll this up, oops. You could have a negative 1 over x squared plus xh. Either one of these would be acceptable answers. So there you go. There's 2 examples. I hope that helps a little bit. If you have any with a square root, those can be a little bit trickier and you have to deal with a conjugate pair. I'm kind of hoping those don't show up. But if they do, send me a message and let me know. We'll get it figured out, okay? So good luck, Kyle. I hope that helps. Send me an Edgenuity message if it doesn't work, and we'll try something else.